The leader of the Maratha Empire, Bajirao, falls for Princess Mastani while he's out at war. Since he's already married and there are religious differences, his love for Mastani is questioned at every step. The Maratha kingdom is left without a chief minister after the demise of Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath. His succession is being discussed, and Panth Pradhanidhi offers to fill the post. Ambaji Panth protests, because he thinks only Bajirao, who is the late ruler's son, is fit for the post. Pradhanidhi thinks Bajirao is too young to handle a kingdom. To satisfy any objection, Bajirao agrees to prove his worth in front of the kingdom with any task. Pradhanidhi places a peacock feather in a mountain of sand and asks Bajirao to split it into two. Bajirao takes his shot and asks them to sift through the sand. He thinks the soil in this task represents India, while the feather signifies the mighty Mughal Empire. Since the Marathas' fight is with the Mughals, Bajirao plans to attack them at their roots and make them crumble. This makes everyone believe that Bajirao is very wise, and he is crowned the chief minister of the Maratha Empire. Bajirao becomes an advisor and the right hand of King Shahu Maharaj. He aims to beat the Mughals and rule the heart of India in Delhi. Over a decade, Bajirao has kept winning wars and rules over half of India. His leadership, political might, and battle skills are well known throughout the country. A little towards the south in Pune, a palace called Shaniwar Wada is being constructed in his honor. Bajirao's wife, Kashi, is excited to meet her childhood friend Bhanu. She blames Bajirao for her husband's murder, who was apparently a spy and came in Bajirao's way. Kashi defends her husband, so Bhanu curses her and she also feels helpless because of her husband. Tukoji informs Bajirao about a soldier from Bundelkhand, who has brought a message from King Chhatrasal. Muhammad Bangash's troops have surrounded their fort and they need Bajirao's help. Ambaji asks Tukoji to send the soldiers away because they have to fight their own battles. The soldier breaks into their hideout and starts attacking everyone. Bajirao refrains from attacking back when he realizes the soldier is a woman. King Chhatrasal's daughter, Princess Mastani, asks Bajirao to help save the Rajput women of her kingdom. Mastani cuts his neck with a sword when he refuses to help. He likes her style and asks his troops to reposition to Bundelkhand to help her kingdom. King Chhatrasal receives a final warning from Bangash to surrender. The Rajputs in Bundelkhand are so proud that they're willing to perish rather than surrender. The queen, Ruhani Begum, prepares to immolate all women so the enemy warriors can't touch them. Chhatrasal's men notice lights coming from the east and assume that Mastani has arrived with Bajirao's army. Bangash panics and points his cannons towards the approaching army. It's a hoax created by Bajirao, who has sent cattle toward them so they reposition their cannons. Mastani enters the palace and signals war so that Bajirao's army can start attacking Bangash. Mastani joins the battlefield with the Rajput army and fights very bravely. Bajirao finishes off Bangash with his sword, but one enemy tries to attack him when he's distracted. Mastani takes the blow of the attack and saves his life. Bajirao has won the battle, but is afraid for Mastani. He drags her back to the palace so she can get medical aid. King Chhatrasal credits him for the victory in the battle and asks him to celebrate the festival of Holi with them. Mastani's attendants tease her about the way Bajirao romantically brought her to the palace. Bajirao wants to talk to her in private, but Mastani believes she won't be able to control herself with him. While he thanks her for saving his life, she's grateful he saved her home. Bajirao asks to see her wound and touches it with a hot dagger to stop the poison from spreading. She admits that she's in love with him while he lets her know that she has his heart. For Holi, she sings and dances for Bajirao while he attends the event as their special guest. Mastani comes to meet him at night and hopes it never ends. Bajirao needs to return to his kingdom, but Mastani is sure they will meet again. All of Bundelkhand bids farewell to Bajirao, but Mastani refuses to join them. She believes that he would crave to meet her again if she doesn't chase him. Ruhani doesn't want to send Mastani to Pune. It is a custom in their family that a woman is married if a man presents his dagger to her. While Bajirao willingly gives Mastani the dagger, Ruhani knows that Bajirao's family in Pune won't accept her. Mastani doesn't care that she is half Hindu and Muslim, and is daring to enter a kingdom where people hate her religion. King Chhatrasal also supports Mastani's wish, so she prepares to depart for Pune to be with Bajirao. Kashi celebrates Bajirao's entry into the new palace. She recites a poem for him and brings him into the new chambers. Kashi still has longing in her eyes because she spent the past 8 months waiting for him. She realizes his dagger is missing, but assumes he must have lost it in battle. King Chhatrasal sends over a lot of gifts for Bajirao, along with Mastani. Bajirao's mother, Radha Ma, is confused about Mastani's presence. Mastani shows her the dagger and explains the custom in Bundelkhand, because of which she's married to Bajirao. Radha clarifies that the Peshwas don't follow such customs. She asks her men to arrange for Mastani's accommodation far away from the palace. When Kashi keeps staring at Bajirao while he's bathing, he flirts with her and takes her to bed. Kashi wants to accompany him to battle next time because she's tired of waiting alone. She has counted all his scars and thinks the one on his neck by Mastani is brutal. She gives him a special ring to protect him from evil eyes. Mastani's attendant doesn't like that the queen has put them up with courtesans. Mastani understands that the people in the palace are trying to keep her away from Bajirao. She's still determined to somehow get closer to him. Bajirao is brought to the new Palace of Mirrors, which has been crafted by his brother, Chimaji. Because of the palace's architectural wonder, Kashi can watch Bajirao standing in the palace from her room. When Kashi learns Bajirao is visiting the palace, she places her curtain and reflectable items in a way that she can see him standing in front of her. Bajirao's sisters think Kashi is lucky that her husband doesn't have multiple wives like the Muslims do. Kashi asks them not to cast an evil eye because she's confident that her husband cannot be swayed by another woman. This might hurt at some point. At the Palace of Mirrors, Mastani makes a grand entrance to perform for Bajirao. Everyone assumes she is a courtesan, but Bajirao and Mastani keep exchanging looks. Bajirao is pleasantly surprised that she followed him and hopes to see her again. Radha is impressed with Mastani's dance skills and offers to make her a court dancer. Mastani knows Radha will never accept her as Bajirao's wife, but she asserts her determination to get closer to him. The men at Bajirao's court are still in awe of Mastani's performance. Chimaji has audited their war funds and knows that their treasury is still empty because of the war efforts. Bajirao thinks they have gained a lot more than money from these wars. He is proud of defeating Bengash, thereby alerting the Muslims of his presence. He has also created a lifetime bond with Bundelkhand by helping them in their time of need. When someone brags about getting a dancer like Mastani too, Bajirao gets offended. He decides to visit her at Hirabag Palace that night among the courtesans. Chimaji doesn't think that's suitable for a leader like him. Luckily for Chimaji, Bajirao can't refuse to make an appearance in front of the king that night. King Shahu honors Bajirao for his wins on the battlefield with a specially forged sword. Bajirao wants to attack Delhi, but Pratinidhi and Shahu believe it is too soon politically. Pratinidhi feels victorious, but Bajirao expertly places his sword in a way that warns him. Bajirao learns that his mother sent Mastani to the capital to entertain at the king's soiree. Mastani refuses to be insulted as a dancer, even if Pratinidhi refers to her as a gift from Bundelkhand. Bajirao stands up for her and points out that she is King Chhatrasal's daughter. He also opines that Mastani is special because she saved his life during the war. King Shahu offers a gift to her for saving his life, but Mastani asks to get Bajirao all to herself. Everyone is shocked that she dared to be so blunt. The king is impressed with her eloquence, so he lets her go with dignity. That night, Bajirao gifts his ring from Kashi to the boatman so he can ferry him across the river to Mastani's house. He asks how Mastani dared to demand his love in front of everyone. He clarifies that if they were to marry, the society would never accept her. She would also be his second wife and would have to face a lot of shame. Mastani doesn't care about all these issues, so Bajirao marries her in a private ceremony. Soon enough, Bajirao arranges for a meeting with the Nizam in the south. Nizam's army is much larger than Bajirao's, but he intends to show the power of his mind. The Nizam makes his intentions about holding Bajirao hostage very clear to him. Bajirao gains the upper hand by replacing Nizam's men with his own at the palace. Bajirao confidently brags about having a much bigger army than the Nizam. He threatens to retaliate if the Nizam attacks him. He also asks the Nizam to help him win the fight with Delhi and return the captured Maratha estates to King Shahu. Kashi is relieved when she hears about Bajirao's meeting with the Nizam being a success. She is expecting a child, so Radha wants to make this a double celebration. She asks Chimaji to invite Krishna Bhatt and the Brahmins for a feast that evening. When Bajirao comes to meet Mastani after his victory, he can tell that she's pregnant. Radha sends over a message directing Mastani to perform a dance at the court to celebrate Bajirao's victory. The Brahmins are waiting for Bajirao to join them when the messenger gets back. He informs Radha that Bajirao refused to let Mastani perform at court. He also refuses to join them for the Brahmins' feast since he's dining with Mastani that night. Krishna Bhatt is offended that Bajirao is celebrating a Muslim festival and refuses to let the Brahmins eat in that house. When Bajirao gets home that night, he asks Radha to invite the Brahmins again to celebrate Mastani's pregnancy. Radha asks Bajirao to not mention this to Kashi, but he wants to be honest with her. When Bajirao learns that Kashi is also pregnant, he's unable to reveal the truth about Mastani to her. He writes a note to Mastani, asking her to not meet him till he personally informs Kashi about their relationship. Mastani's attendant, Jumri, is unable to deliver her messages to Bajirao. Her informant, Veer Singh, comes with the news that Bajirao is ill and doesn't want to meet anyone. Mastani is worried about his health and decides to head to Shaniwar Wada to meet him. Bajirao asks Mastani to secretly meet him at the Palace of Mirrors. Mastani learns that she didn't get any of Bajirao's letters because of people who don't want them to meet. She insists she can't stand being away from him. Kashi watches as Bajirao hugs Mastani from her room and burns the cloth. A few months later, Kashi returns from her maternal home with Bajirao's new son. Veer informs Bajirao that Mastani is in labor and no one is helping her. Bajirao goes to help her deliver his other son, Krishna. Kashi's son has been named Raghunath, and a huge crowd has gathered to celebrate the birth. When Mastani tries to bless Kashi's son, Chimaji insults her for being shameless. The next day, Bajirao asks the Brahmins to organize a naming ceremony for Krishna too. Krishna Bhatt refuses to let Mastani's child have his father's religion because he and Mastani haven't married properly as per Hindu law. Bajirao is ready to marry her properly, but the child would still not be accepted out of wedlock. Bajirao is frustrated with how strict the Hindu religion is, and decides to name the child after Mastani's Muslim religion. He renames Krishna as Shamshir Bahadur, which offends the Brahmins. Chimaji is offended when Bajirao distributes sweets after giving his son a Muslim name. Bajirao also gifts 2 estates to Mastani to take care of his son. He knows the entire court disrespects Mastani in his absence, and he wants to ensure that she and her child are taken care of. Chimaji refers to Mastani as his mistress and refuses to let her have any of Bajirao's estates. Bajirao throws a dagger at him in anger because he knows he's the boss. Radha is worried about Bajirao fighting his loved ones for Mastani. She sympathizes with Kashi and knows how hard it is to be the lady of the house with powerful peshwa men. Bajirao decides to bring Mastani to Shaniwar Wada and officially give her the title of his wife. No one is present in Mastani Mahal to receive them after he dedicates them to her. Kashi welcomes them as the lady of the house as per tradition. She still makes it clear that she will never accept their relationship in her heart. Kashi and Bajirao's eldest son, Nana, returns from King Shahu's palace in the capital. He's angry at Bajirao for disrespecting his mother and bringing Mastani home. Shiva Bhatt informs Kashi before the prayers that Mastani's life is in danger. Kashi joins Bajirao in the prayers, while Mastani fights the attackers for her life. Bajirao rescues her at the right time after learning from Kashi about the attackers. Krishna Bhatt murders Shiva after learning that he told Kashi about the attack. When Krishna Bhatt also insults Mastani, Radha stops Bajirao from attacking him. Bajirao gets angry at Radha and Chimaji for protecting Krishna Bhatt. He begs Radha to accept Mastani as his wife, but she doesn't budge. Bajirao gives up his helmet and refuses to be their peshwa. During a festival for women to celebrate their husbands' long lives, Kashi comes to Mastani Mahal. Kashi is hurt by Mastani's action, but she wants Mastani to also pray for Bajirao's long life. Kashi knows Mastani will have to face a lot of humiliation, but asks her to not take it to heart. Mastani points out that even when Bajirao is with her, he hasn't left Kashi. While Mastani inspires Bajirao, he thinks of Kashi as his biggest strength. Kashi warms up to Mastani and asks her to join in the celebrations. Chimaji and Ambaji Panth convince Bajirao to fight with them as the Peshwa since the Nizam's son, Nasirjung, is revolting against them. Bajirao asks Kashi to see him off to battle as the First Lady. Kashi knows that even if she's his legal wife, people will always remember his love affair with Mastani in history books. Bajirao assures Kashi that he has never compared her to Mastani. Kashi still thinks he has hurt her pride, and asks him to enjoy his life with Mastani. When Bajirao meets Mastani before battle, he promises her that they will meet again. He predicts that it will happen when the setting sun and rising moon appear together in the sky. Amid this orange sky, untimely rains will wash the earth, and they will finally meet without the shackles of religion separating them. As soon as Bajirao leaves for battle, Radha asks Nana to arrest Mastani. When Bajirao is preparing for battle, Veer Singh informs him about Mastani's arrest. Bajirao gets angry and charges towards the battle alone. He defends himself and eliminates everyone on the battlefield. Nana gives Mastani a last chance to return to Bundelkhand, but she refuses to leave Bajirao. She asks Shamshir to be a brave warrior like Bajirao, even if she's not around. Chimaji is impressed with Bajirao's victory, but he has something else on his mind. He wants to declare war on Shaniwar Wada to rescue Mastani. Before he can act on his thoughts, he faints. When Nana asks for Mastani's last wish, she just wants to expire with Bajirao. His condition gets worse, so Kashi and Radha are summoned to be with him. Radha asks Nana to not take any action with Mastani till they return. Radha and Kashi travel to Ravalkadi, where Bajirao assumes Kashi is Mastani. Kashi plays along and assures him that everything at court is fine. Kashi writes an order to release Mastani from arrest because she knows Bajirao needs her. Nana burns the written orders he gets from his grandmother to release Mastani. Around the same time, Bajirao pictures Shaniwarwada burning and is worried about Mastani. He hallucinates about an enemy army with black flags who are coming to take Mastani away. He runs towards the ocean and starts fighting these invisible demons. Right then, Mastani also feels like she's about to perish. They both breathe their last together and unite in their eternal love.